Hey everyone, it's your girl Charnel, aka ohsolimitless. Today I'm going to be discussing some of the startup costs that I think are important for you to consider when starting your private practice. As therapists, in order for us to offer therapeutic services, we need to be registered with a regulatory body. This regulatory body ensures that as therapists, we comply with the standards that are required of us in the state or province that we're living in. The fee that you pay really depends on a couple of factors. One is your location. Every province and state has different costs for their regulatory body. And the other thing is your status. Are you registering as a qualifying member that still requires clinical supervision, or are you registering as a fully licensed therapist that no longer requires supervision? In addition to registering with the regulatory body, some therapists choose to register with a professional association. Professional associations are essentially there to support us and protect us as therapists. They can support us with any ethical issues that we have, possibly some legal issues. If you have any questions, they're there to support you. And sometimes they also offer you some discounts on things such as insurance rates. Now, this next thing is super important for us as therapists, given the risk that is associated with the work that we do. As a therapist, you need to have professional liability insurance. Now, if you work for an organization, often this is something that they already provide for you. The company takes care of that. But if you're going into private practice, you need to ensure that you yourself have that professional liability insurance coverage. This price varies depending on the amount of coverage you're requesting from the insurance company. I highly encourage you to confirm with your regulatory body how much coverage they require you to have as a therapist to practice in that state or province that you are in. Another thing that impacts the price of your insurance coverage is, let's say for example, you choose to practice online. Now, there is associated risk with practicing online in terms of loss of information or identity theft. And so therefore you want to ensure that you have coverage in the case of these situations as well. And if you do have that coverage, you are also paying an additional fee. Now, insurance honestly ranges, again, as I mentioned, depending on where you are and how much coverage you need, but this is often a couple or a few $100s. Now, I talk about this in all of my day in the life videos because this is something that I truly believe in, and that is clinical supervision. Clinical supervision is super important, and it is also helpful in you starting your business. If you're reaching out to a clinical supervisor who has their own private practice, they also have experience in which they can provide you with support in terms of managing your business aspect as well. And so clinical supervision is something that I honestly strongly believe in, strongly encourage everyone to use, even if you are a seasoned therapist. And this price can really, again, range depending on if you're doing group supervision, dyadic supervision, or even individual supervision. I personally have paid between $100 to $180 per hour session with a clinical supervisor throughout my career of being a therapist. In private practice, this was something that really helped reduce the stress levels that I had about the business side of things. And so that is having a practice management system. A practice management system is essentially a portal where everything is there for you and your client. So this system pretty much creates receipts for you. This system allows you to upload your case notes. This system allows you to upload documents to share with your clients. This system also allows your clients to book into your calendar, for you to book your client into your calendar, or to block out your schedule. And so everything is done for you in this project management system, and this is a fee that you're going to be paying on a monthly basis. This price varies depending on your needs in private practice. It is also important to confirm that this practice management system that you're using is compliant with your governing body's requirements. And so, for example, is it HIPAA compliant? Is it FIPA compliant? This all depends on where you live. If you're in the States, if you're in the UK, if you're in Canada, you all have different requirements. So you have to ensure that the practice management system that you're using is compliant for you depending on where you live. If y'all are getting insightful information from this video, I ask that you give this video a thumbs up. If you have any peers or colleagues that are also interested in becoming a therapist or having their own private practice, I ask that you share my channel and make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Marketing is such an important factor of private practice. Without marketing, there is no way of you attracting your ideal client to your practice. And so marketing can look like you investing money in things such as business cards, or you investing in uploading a profile to a therapist directory such as Psychology Today, pay? Are you choosing to invest in creating Facebook ads, Google ads, Instagram ads, depending on where your ideal client is? Are you looking to invest in creating a website? Are you going to create that website on your own, or are you going to hire someone to create your website? And so considering all of these factors, this price really does vary depending on the amount of marketing you choose to do and the type of marketing you choose to invest and put your time and money towards. Now, this one really depends on if you are ready to register your business or not. I can create a whole separate video on this topic specifically, but business registration is something that you want to consider. Do you want to run your practice through your name and not necessarily have to register it yet? This is something you might want to consider if you're just doing it part-time. However, if you are doing it full-time, I do highly encourage you to register your business right off the bat. And that price can really, again, vary depending on the type of business registration you're doing, and also your state and province. So for example, if you're registering as a sole proprietorship, it's probably just under $100. If you're registering as a corporation, this could range from $500 to, let's say, a couple $1,000, depending on if you register with a lawyer or not, and the process that you choose to register your business. So again, this price varies depending on your choice of business you choose to register, and if you choose to register your business right off the bat or not. In addition to registering your business, you might actually also have to get a business permit or license. I didn't necessarily have to do that where I'm from. However, depending on where you are, you have to look into your state or province to see if you also need a business permit or license to actually run your business. Now, this isn't actually a startup cost, but it is something you need to consider when starting your private practice. How are you going to charge your clients? Are you going to accept e-transfer? Are you going to accept check? Are you going to accept credit card? If you're accepting credit card, there is a processing fee associated with each transaction. So let's say that a client chooses to pay by credit card, you're going to be charged a percentage of that depending on the credit card processor that you sign up with. Something to consider. As I'm going through this list, it sounds like there are so many things to do, but if you work on them day by day, little by little, you will come to a point where everything is done and you will be able to start your private practice. Now, something else that you need to consider are technology costs. So you want to ensure that you have a computer or a tablet, something that's functional enough for you to have your virtual sessions or for you to type up your case notes if that's what you prefer. In addition to that, again, I do therapy through virtual means, so it is super important for you to have high internet connection. You need to have a good quality internet connection in order for your sessions to go well and for there to not be an impact on your therapeutic sessions because of the internet. Another thing that I think is super important for us as therapists to have, and also to support us with having our own boundaries, is having a separate phone line. So you might need to get an additional phone bill or pay again an additional cost for a monthly phone bill and possibly a new phone. I personally got a new line so that clients can only contact me on my business phone, and so that I wasn't crossing any boundaries or I wasn't receiving any calls on my personal line from clients or new potential clients. Another technology fee you might actually have to pay for is your email. I pay for my email on a yearly basis. You can also pay a couple of dollars on a month-to-month basis, but my email is compliant to what my regulatory body requires, and also it is an email that is directly associated with my website. So instead of it saying @gmail.com, it's @mywebsite.com. And so that is an additional fee you might want to consider depending on how professional you want your private practice to look. And I actually think that also impacts how much you can actually charge when it comes to clients as well, because that level of professionalism is also there. But that will be for another video. Now, this final option really depends on if you want to have a virtual practice or an in-person practice. If you plan on having an in-person practice, then you are going to have an office space. Office space prices, of course, vary depending on if you're renting an office space on an hourly basis, which is an option. Check out co-working spaces. If you plan on sharing an office space with another colleague or another therapist in private practice, or if you plan on renting out your own space on a yearly basis or a monthly basis where you can fix it up and maneuver things to the best of your liking, then the price again is going to vary. It's super important when you're looking at office spaces to consider the location, to consider how often or frequently you're using it. And something I also want to mention, some of us don't have the access to having our own private space or office space in our homes. And so at that time also, you are going to have to look for an office space. But I would consider, especially if you're doing it on a part-time basis, renting a space on an hourly basis versus like a monthly or a yearly lease, just so you don't have to be stuck to a certain commitment or paying such a high overhead fee that isn't necessarily required if you're not necessarily working in your private practice all the time. Now that's a wrap for all of these startup financial costs that are required for you to have your private practice up and ready to go. If there's anything that you feel that I missed, or if you have any questions, please comment below, share, ask away. I love engaging and interacting with y'all, and of course learning from y'all. And if there's anything that I feel like I may have missed and not shared in this video, I will also include it in the description box below, so make sure you check that out. Please also share this video with colleagues, friends who are also interested in becoming a therapist, social worker, any kind of helping field, because it does help my channel and it helps us all to learn and grow. And in addition to that, if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch y'all in my next video. Bye.